How's it going, everybody? This is Martin Stokes here.
And this is Dean Scurry.
And I am a traveller.
And I am a countryman.
Welcome to A Traveller
And a Countryman podcast.
Okay, what's the crack? We're back here today at episode 14. We have a special guest on here, Jeff O'Toole, our film actor. Yeah, he's going to tell us all about his acting and he's more or less his career and all he's done and the things he don't like doing and didn't like doing.
Yep.
And we're going to hound him with questions if we can do it at all. Yeah.
Of course, yeah, for it away.
So this is Dean, I'm Martin, and this is Dean over here, stared me into the two eyes.
As you can hear, right?
I don't know why.
Martin's all excited because Martin really likes Jeff.
He knows I'm going to make so many mistakes, and that's why he's trying to direct me on this one.
Yeah, stuttering fool. Martin really likes Jeff. Okay, so I know Jeff a good couple of years, and Martin's only had to meet him in the last number of weeks. Since maybe just before we started the podcast.
Well, he's a very interesting person, and I'm very interested in what he does.
Yeah. And Jeff
he's a good personality, he has, without a doubt.
Troy.
Jeff actually listens to the podcast, which is great. He's one of our main listeners.
I do.
Why you listen to this podcast, Jeff?
I thought it was very interesting. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't listen to any other podcast.
No.
So
this is it.
Oh, this was it.
This was it.
You've opened me up into the world of podcast. This one has.
Very good.
Hold on. So this is episode 14. You never listened to podcasts, and now you're not only listening to this one as your first one, but you're also listening to other ones. Because you told me the other day you're listening to that Witness one.
I listened to it, finished it. Brilliant.
Wow.
Excellent. A lot of it is based in Ballymun as well, which was very interesting. And I've gone from that into one, I think it's the Sunday World, Nicola Tallaght one. Brilliant as well.
That's deadly.
So now I
was that since you started listening to this one, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I've never listened to a podcast in my life.
Was it because you liked Dean's voice or something like, was it?
No. Like my wife listens to them all the time.
Yeah.
She loves them. She potters around the house doing the housework and listens to podcasts. And she's been telling me to, and I was saying, look,
you were resistant to technology, were you?
Yeah. I just want to listen to
music.
music.
Just like an RTE or an RTE.
No, just music. I have Spotify. Listen to Elvis and the Beatles and...
Not unusual.
It's not Elvis, it's Tom Jones. You got you.
Yeah.
2 minutes in, you're listening. Give over. No, I usually just, for the last 10 years, coming over to Ballymun working, I was listening to music. And now I'm listening to podcasts because of this one.
If that's not like an advertisement for podcasts, but for this podcast, a traveller fella actually that I know... he WhatsApped me the other day because I think Martin sent them on the podcast, because I've been saying to Martin, send it to people on your phone, because I think he might have been a bit reluctant to send it to other travellers. But now, since we got his mammy on, since we got Richie on and Shawnee on, and he's getting feedback, he's banging it out to everybody.
Yeah.
So this traveller got on who lives up the road, and he said, Dean, how do I get the rest of them? And I was going, how are you listening to this podcast? And he says, I'm listening to it on Spotify. So traveller... people in Ireland are listening to this podcast on Spotify. For me, that's my job done.
Yeah,
I'm out of here. Drop the mic. Done.
Yeah.
If travellers are listening to podcasts, if Jeff O'Toole, actor, director, community worker, is listening to podcasts based on this podcast, job done. All
based on this. And I'm going to be honest. When Dean told me about the idea, I was going, I don't think this is going to work.
That's so cynicism built into you.
So you were thinking like me then, Jeff, because I was thinking the same thing.
Martin, I thought no one's going to listen to that. I said, what do you mean? Like Dean Scurry,
But you were right.
Dean's he's out there and he talks a lot. And
was that your description of me? I'm out there and I talk a lot.
You were right, Jeff. Who wants to listen to two idiots like us anyway?
Yeah, that was it. And then I started listening to it and I was going, this is great. I enjoyed the banter you both have, but it's a respectful banter. I know.
Yeah, but that's only when the microphone's on.
He was nearly pulling the head off me today because he was trying to skip off from doing this podcast, and I said, no, you have to turn up on time and you have to drop Jeff home to Tallaght. And he was like, no, and we were snapping at each other. So there is that natural kind of vibe, and it does work.
No, it definitely does. And how listen to Martin's faith and the stories of his faith and how religious he is, and then you're coming from you have different beliefs, and you think some of it is coincidence or not, like traditions, superstitions, myths, stories, all that type of stuff. They all kind of interweave. But you were kind of trying to get your point across to each other, but you weren't taking the piss out of each other.
Or stepping on each other too much.
Yeah, it was kind of respectful, but you're both giving your opinions. respectfully to each other.
Yeah.
And I thought that was.
Well,
that's what got me.
it is really only a chat. Like, it's not meant to be a fight, is it? Like, so I guess.
And I thought podcasts were. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought they were like just one guy talking garbage for 45 minutes.
Well, they are that.
But now you have two guys
like,
talking garbage.
Yeah, exactly. That's the name of the podcast. Two guys talking garbage. I think there's one called Talking Bollocks.
Or it could be Dean talking garbage. You agreeing?
Well, podcasts are that. It's just like TV shows. TV shows are everything. TV shows is one dude in front of a camera. It's a whole cast. It's a documentary. It's a film. And podcasts are all that as well.
Yeah, I think this is the way it's going, isn't it? Like, we have some young people now in the youth service who are trying to embrace podcasts as a way of expressing themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they don't feel comfortable saying certain things to me as a youth worker, but through the power of the microphone, they just open up for some reason. They just
get
say it.
free rather than what used to happen if you put cameras and microphone in front of young people, they would just freeze up. Anybody, they just freeze up. Now, most people I know, if you put a microphone or if you suggested them, do you want to do a podcast? They'll go, yeah, no problem. That thing is gone.
It's like it's a supposedly the safety net of some description, where there's, if you're putting it up onto social media and it's just you putting your face up there on whatever it is, Snapchat or whatever these things are, Instagrams, that people are seeing you. They're putting a face to the voice.
Yeah.
But with this, you're just hearing the voice. Whoever's listening to it now is only hearing the voice.
Well, they don't want to see our faces anyway.
They don't want to see
I
us
don't
straight.
blame them.
They don't want to see us straight.
Well, even on Spotify, you can do video ones. Like Joe Rogan's one is video as well.
Yeah.
And I just think that it democratizes communication across the world. We can just have conversations that probably we would have had internally or with ourselves or in a small group or in a pub or around the kitchen table. Now we can have conversations and invite people to have conversations across the globe.
Dean, can I just ask you, what does democratise mean? Because I'm a bit lost in that one.
So democracy, we live in a democracy in Ireland, as in we have a choice, we have a vote, we have a say in what happens in our own lives, and that's kind of democracy. That's kind of the definition of democracy. We agree between us to turn up here. It's economically okay for us to be able to buy the laptop, get the software, get the microphones, and make our own TV show, basically. Where for the last 50 years, that was kind of the domain of middle class people. Yeah. And their voice and their way of looking at the world was all we heard for the last 50 years. And now it's changing.
And you had to buy into it. If you wanted to be a part of that and have that means to express what you want to say,
on air
you had
news.
To buy in. You had
Stick
to buy
on
in.
air news is what my man Dad used to say. Like, as in, that's the only thing that we're going to believe. Stick it on there. Stick it on the telly. Stick on the RTE there. We'll watch something. You know?
And now they're sticking
And now
on.
you're listening. Now Jeff O'Toole, what age are you now?
I'm 43 next week.
43 years of age. You've switched into a different gear and you're listening to bleeding podcasts.
Only a young fella, Jeff, honestly. Only a young fella.
You've heard the youth talk.
You're better looking than you sound.
Oh, I am, yeah.
I like that.
I agree.
So, Jeff, tell me something. How long have you known Dean?
I started working in Ballymun 11 years ago. I don't think Dean was working here at the time. I think he was having a break somewhere else.
I was up in Finglas.
Yeah. So I'd heard of him, as you would. You hear things in the community.
Yes.
Not positive now, but if you want to get this going, talk to Dean, and Dean knows this, and I didn't know who this fellow was. And then I came into work one day, and this scone was at the...
Came across him, did you?
You loved the old slang, don't you? This scone.
Yeah. This fella's at the reception, bouncing around. He's bouncing around like a lead Jack Russell. And then someone says, that's Dean. So then he goes, yeah, that's... Yeah. And I think we got on more or less straight off the back. We're quite similar. He likes a slagging, I like a slagging.
You're creative, I'm creative.
Yeah. And we know... Without knowing, we knew a lot of the same people.
Right, very good.
From what I was doing and what Dean was doing, we kind of knew a lot of the same people. Without knowing, we both knew them.
Yes.
So that
you both have faces
so basically, Dean
for the radio.
He knew everybody, but then it was you that really knew everybody, yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Dean was
name
dropping and I was going, right, we actually know them, Dean.
Yeah. You can't tell that story anymore. Yeah, that's my mate in real life. You bullshit
that's what
artist.
happened.
What's that called? Your chancer.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Yeah, we get on, and a lot of the stuff that he does, I'd be dubious about.
So do you
Take
regret?
a step back. What do you mean,
Do you
dubious?
regret?
I think just sometimes you like pushing the envelope a bit. You like going.
That's what the envelope is for.
Yeah. And at the time, I was kind of going, "Jay, Stan,
Basically,
play the game a bit, but he doesn't. He goes and
are
does
you
what he
saying
does.
he likes eating all the sugar lumps? Like, is that what you're saying? Is that
No, I think he just likes winding people up.
Yeah,
That's what I think. That's
And
what I
he's good,
thought.
yeah,
Like,
he's
I
good at
think
that, yeah, but he gets
just like
winded up
playing the
himself
safe.
as well.
Oh, well, he loves himself. We know. Look,
Yeah.
we know this.
It does gotta happen.
I resemble that remark.
You resemble it. Yeah.
But see, you have to understand, Jeff, that Dean has done stand-up comedy for 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
it has to
Here
be-
it comes
there
now.
you go.
You can hear the horses
There
coming
has
around
to
the mountain. Martin's getting ready to slag the
There
country
has to be
fella.
a few jokes in there.
Martin's
Mike, you
been
know what I
waiting
mean?
14 episodes for this.
There has
This
to be a
better be good.
small bit of comedy inside this guy, you know what I mean?
He's holding back.
How can we expect not to? If a man tells you he's doing...
That's Martin.
Yeah.
Simple.
The first thing about comedy, Martin, is all about timing. He's waiting till episode 20
Because
before he tells a joke.
I done a bit of research. Where was that place you went to in England? The big show?
The Edinburgh Fringe
The
Comedy
Edinburgh.
Festival.
I done a bit of research on him, and he was the only guy that got through out. So I was wondering, how come this guy...
Actually the only guy who probably
How
made
can this
money
guy...
there.
They said...
Most guys, when they go to Edinburgh, come home broke like 5 or 6 grand in debt. I made about 4 or 5 grand because I'd done a free comedy gig and I charged people out. So it was free to get in, so it'd fill the venue, and then you charge them. Just say, look,
You charge
if
them to get out.
this gig was half as
That
good,
sounds like ransom.
if this gig was half as good as a £20 gig,
Was it a
give me a
hostage
tenner.
gig?
What do you want to leave early? Was it extra
Do you
money?
think, Jeff, do you think... that
No
was
hope
like,
of getting out of a room with me alive.
do you think that sounds like a hostage gig?
That sounds a bit like...
You let them in free and charge them to get out.
That was the inbuilt
So
joke,
what if
man.
what
You
if they didn't
duped them.
have...
You duped.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
duped them, yeah.
What if the
They were
pockets
there
were
to be
empty and
duped.
they had no money to get out?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. What happens then?
But anyway, I done a little bit of research on him, and I heard he had basically got through out. On the other hand, they told him, look, we only needed you to draw the curtains. You see the ropes over there? Pull them when we tell you. Let them go when we tell you.
I think that's what his job was.
So
I don't
the-
actually think he was telling jokes over there. I
So
just think
he-
he was the curtain puller.
So he came home and told the people of Ireland, look, I was over there. I've been a stand-up comedian for
He
10
missed
years.
it. It was amazing.
He was over there. He was on stage.
He
He
said
just wasn't telling
Edinburgh,
jokes.
I filmed it,
Edinburgh,
but I lost all the tapes.
he said Edinburgh is after retired me.
It's that old chest. Like the editing floor. Like,
Yeah.
I was in the film. I swear to God I was in it.
Oh, I seen one today. It was your man Stephen, the Liverpool fella, the actor.
Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham and Goldie, right? And Goldie plays this kind of really posh character. They're just taking the piss. They're over in Ibiza or something like that, and they're poolside. Goldie goes, yes, I was in that film, whatever, Gladiator. And he goes, you weren't in bleeding Gladiator. But it's about a 10-minute thing of him just taking the piss out of each other. It's cracker.
I've been there telling people I was in this picture, and then you go to watch
Did
it.
you?
Yeah.
And you went in it. I told Martin I was in that Des Bishop Join the Hood, and I was telling everybody, and it was about to be released on RTE the week before Christmas, and then Des rang me going, we had to pull you from the show and another fella because there's too many people in it. And I was like 20 odd years of age, probably 30 odd years of age, crying my eyes out.
It was quite similar. I was embarrassed for life. I was a friend of mine, Damien O'Donnell. He's a BAFTA winning director. He won the film East is East.
I love it. Yeah.
He directed that. He's from
Bastard
Dublin.
Wife, that one.
Yeah, he's from Dublin,
That was
and
interesting, wasn't
he made another picture here. Inside I'm Dancing. It was called.
That was interesting, wasn't
And
it?
James McAvoy is in it, and Brenda Fricker.
The lads in the wheelchairs.
Yeah, that's it.
Very
So
good.
Damien offered me a part in it, small part, but he wanted me to be involved. He says, "Yeah, great, brilliant." Went, done the film. Premiere comes round. No, it's the cast and crew first. Was in the Savoy in town. So we're all outside. There's press and there's all the actors are there. I brought my wife. She wasn't my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time. So I just want to impress her that I'm in this big film. And I'm going to be doing scenes with Brenda Fricker and James McAvoy, and I'm going to be up on this big screen in the Savoy. And I can see Damien is kind of looking over crowds to try to catch me eye. But because he's the director, people are pulling out of him and he's getting pulled into this. So anyway, we get ushered into the theatre. We watch the film. And I'm kind of going, I thought my scene was coming up in and around now.
Is this like the Irish edit? There must be a different edit for the international audience.
And my wife is beside, well, my fiance at the time. And I'm going, yeah, I'm coming up now in a minute. And then the part where he was supposed to be is gone. And I'm
Flipped
going,
out.
I'm going, shit. I look like a fucking idiot here.
She's definitely not going to marry me now.
So I said to myself, the Job's town in me says, I'm going to see him outside. I'm going to find out here what's happening here.
Yeah, thump the teeth on.
Because I was getting a bit, I'm not being embarrassed,
Yes.
basically. I'm not getting embarrassed.
He didn't have the balls or the decency to.
He was
to
trying
go,
to.
Right.
He was trying.
You know, a text.
Yeah. So I got outside and I'm looking around for him. And he's looking around for me because he knew he's not going to be happy. So we met each other outside on O'Connell Street, kind of halfway. And I didn't even get the words out of my mouth. He goes, I'm so sorry. And he started apologising what had happened. And
It wasn't his fault.
well, he's the director. It is.
He's the director.
It is his fault.
He has created
But there
control.
was a reason
Yeah,
for
at the end of
probably
it.
a reason for not having you in it, though.
Film ran on too long. The funders, the studio who pays the money, had said it was 12 minutes too long, so he had to cut 12 minutes out of somewhere. And it just so happened that the scenes I was in was the easy ones to take.
Right.
So that was the end of that.
But it happens all the
It
time.
happens all the time.
And what was the name of the film again?
Inside, I'm dancing.
Oh.
I'm still in the,
Inside, I'm
Are
bullet.
you still, I was gonna say, are you still dancing inside?
here's the funny part. I'm still in the credits.
You still get residuals.
Wasn't even in the film.
Do you, hold on, do you still get paid?
No, it was a one-off.
Oh,
getting
my
too
God.
deep, Dean.
What do you
That's
mean?
his business.
So how does that work? You one-offs or residuals. How does that work? What's it? Do you know how that word works?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm producing now, so I do know a bit.
Yeah. You've upskilled yourself on it, so
yeah.
you don't fucking make a show of yourself again.
Yeah, because I've been stung with that as well. And I'll tell you about that if you want. There was another film in New York, but I'll get on to the first question.
What we asked you a question, did we?
Yeah, do I know the question about residuals and?
Oh
the
yeah.
difference?
Go on.
So you kind of
I didn't think we were that professional.
Dean asked, don't mind Dean, he asked
He's
questions.
getting all excited. He's
I
getting.
have to, Jeff, I have to apologise for him. Is that okay?
He's getting all excited. Yeah, when you get offered a film or get offered a part, a lot of the time you'd either say you can have an upfront payment, or it could be if there's not as much as a budget, they might say, look, it's a lower payment, but we'll give you residuals, which is a percentage of future earnings. And
Profits from the film down
profits
the line.
from the film. Now, sometimes if you're stuck, which I was, I just say, no, just give me money in the bank is better than
Yeah.
what might
Because
happen.
you knew you were
One
going to chat up
bird.
some lady and
He
marry
said
her.
one bird
Yeah.
is better in the hand than two in the
This is
bush.
it's a risk you can take.
Hold on, is that what that means?
Yeah.
One in the hand is better than two in
One
the bush.
bird in the hand is better
I
than two
never
in
knew
the
what
bush.
that meant.
Yeah, that's what
That's deadly.
Dean, I'm
And,
sick and tired of educating you, honestly.
and that's more often than not. I've said, you just it's the Job's town in me. I'm not.
It's the
you know,
working class.
working class. We didn't have any money, so if someone's offering you money,
Put the
you,
hand
you
out.
take the thing.
Yeah.
You don't wait. You could take half the money and then film bombs, and
And maybe
you don't
never
get a
get to
shilling.
the other half.
So it's,
This
so
is
it's a
it.
bit of a risk. What would they prefer you to do? Would they prefer you to go, look, get him out of the way, money up front, or does that even come into it?
No, it doesn't even say
probably-
it. Like a lot of the bigger actors, like the big stars, they
Yeah.
would have both.
Right, okay. So
So
they
a lot
get
of
their
them-
fee and their residual.
Yeah, a lot of them would have that put into contracts if they know the film is going to be a success. I think one of the more famous ones was like it was Jack Nicholson doing the Joker and Batman, and he had written in that I want residuals, but it was residuals of all future Batman films.
Oh,
It was something like that.
So
So
you
he'd
can get- you
already
can get
got
smart
$20
about
million,
it.
but he was still making money even when future Batman movies are getting released that he wasn't even in. So that's the sort of smart.
yeah, because there's probably
moves they
people
can
who wrote
make,
contracts who are getting money, say, from Netflix, who are, who don't, it looks like they don't really pay that well, but they're probably, because they wrote it in a contract 30 years ago,
Yeah,
and if they want to show that film, when they have to pay these people.
yeah. So it's like you're involved in the music industry as well. It's like royalties for music. Like when you actually release the record, you might get an advance on it. It's royalties. It's sales. It's all this business. That's where
I was actually advising, because I give some advice to some young artists starting off. You know what I mean? Because they're always looking for management, and I'm saying you only need a manager when
you're
certain
making.
things become unmanageable. So if stuff isn't unmanageable, well, then you don't need a manager. You think you need a manager because you want your name out there and you want to be famous, and you think a manager is going to bring that, but they can't really unless they take everything from you.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of talking to these guys about this, but I was talking to one guy the other day, and I was saying, who owns the music? And he goes, what do you mean? It's my music. And I'm going, how do you know that that's your music? You're guessing that that's your music. How do you know? Is there something written down somewhere? Is that an agreement or a contract? And it's kind of the same in films.
I remember a great one for the same director, actually, for Damien O'Donnell. He had made a short film I was in. This is in 1995. I remember it because Man United were playing in the FA Cup final that day you were filming. That's how I remembered.
I've no interest in football.
But he had a budget of 15,000 to make it short at the time. And I remember he was telling me he had spent 8,000 of the budget to use a 15-second snippet of the song You Never Walk Alone. He spent half the budget to buy a bit of music.
Yeah.
Because he felt it was really important. And the film went on and made awards all over the world, won everywhere. It actually got him to make East is East. It helped bring him along in his career. And I think that part of the music, that part of the film where the music was brilliant. But I kind of got to be thinking, going, these lads brought this song out 50 years ago and they're still getting money. They're still making money in it.
It's still paying them.
Yeah.
But then there's other ones, because I'm involved in a documentary with Sky, and I think they have an agreement with somebody, whoever has all the music, the BBC or something like that, to say, we give you as a lump sum once a year, and then we can use whatever you have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's different ways to skin a cat.
But that was it. That was when I was embarrassed most, watching bringing my wife along to watch me in the movie that I wasn't in. Great.
So of the stuff that you have done, what are you least proud of? Can I ask you that? That's more of an awkward question than what are you most proud of? Without
least
embarrassing
proud of
anybody else, directors or actors.
No, the least proud of, without question, is I done a commercial. This is where people are actually going to know me from. Yeah. So you're laughing already. Right.
I think that's where I know you from.
Dean,
right?
could you give the man a chance to talk,
That's why
please?
you stitched me up here.
No.
Right, so.
That's the thing that I know you from. But every time I see it in anything, I just remember that ad.
Exactly. And then people that's listening are going to remember me from this.
What to say it?
I done an ad when I was very young, and I needed money.
Sounds like you're getting manipulated
for
all over the
surf
place.
washing powder, and I was with Biddy Glen Road. Now you're going to remember it now, don't you? Remember it now? You remember it now. So I done 2 ads. I done a follow-up one.
Yep, Jeff.
To get more money. Now, at the time, great money.
Money.
Fantastic. Okay.
Hold on. Can we say...
I love the way you bring the money into it, Jeff. Honestly,
Have to. You have to. Look,
But these people are making money.
You're honest. It's all about the money, isn't it?
At the time, it was, 100%. There was no...
What's great money when you're talking about great money? Are you talking, if you do a 30-second ad, it's 20 grand?
You'd be in and around that, yeah.
Jeff, can I say one thing, please? Dean, if we ask this man a question, it would be okay if we let him finish the answer, please.
Yes, Dad. Yes,
if you don't mind. Go on, Jeff.
You would be talking in the tens of thousands, at the time, in pounds.
Wow.
Now, and I'm coming from, as I said, from Jobstown, where there wasn't a lot of money in the house, and I was still living at home at the time in my mother and father's. So that sort of money gets offered to you to do a day's work or 2 days.
What age were you?
I think it was 19.
So 19 and
18,
someone's going, you can earn a year's wages with this 30-second ad.
Yeah.
Because, let's say 15 grand was probably a year's wages when you made that film or when you made that ad.
Yeah. And for a day's work.
For a day's work.
And you jump in and you're all over it. Great, this is brilliant.
Absolutely.
But then there's no thoughts of the ramifications or the consequences, what's going to come with it. Whereas I got a lot of abuse. I was slagged. I was going to nightclubs all over Dublin. It was great. Now everybody knew me then. I was getting into all these pubs and nightclubs, no issue. I was going to I was meeting a lot of other celebrities and stuff like this. But the slaggings, the abuse, I was bringing me mates out. They were getting into fights, physical fights with people who were taking the piss out of me or whatever. And I was kind of going, fucking, that money wasn't worth it at all.
And do you think that they would have known that we'll get this fella in, we'll get his face, he has an interesting face, an interesting voice, and we'll pay him off 15 grand, it'll be fucking cheap at the price, and we're going to he's going to get debt on it, but we'll make an ad?
No, I just think when I read the little snippet, the little script of it, I fitted it. Like, you know what I mean? I fitted the part of a small fella at the at a checkout, I think it was, and he has glasses. I was going, it's me that they're saying.
Did they write this for me? That's the classic one. Did they write this for me?
But they didn't write it for me. It was already written like that, and I just happened to come in.
Yes.
And they go, he's the bleeding image of a fella that we have to write in here. So that was it.
And in your head, were you thinking, did it ever come to you going, I might be typecast here for the rest of my life in this blade?
Didn't enter my mind for a second.
And did that happen?
Yes.
I'm only throwing it out. Did that happen?
Yeah, of course. Because other stuff was coming up, and I was going in for auditions with casting directors and agents and stuff, and directors who I would have worked with already. And I was going in there kind of going, the ad is still very fresh. It's still very, you're in everybody's mind. If we put you in this film, or if we put you into this TV series, it's like the fella out of Surfad.
Yeah.
Is in.
So although you might have got a great payday, you probably didn't get something decent then for another
two
years. Yeah.
So were you thinking they wouldn't take you serious, basically?
It wouldn't. No, it was like the guy. Do you know what's, if you were to watch EastEnders, say for instance, Martin, and you saw the guy out of, the guy with the Halifax ads, that fellow with the glasses and the tall black fellow with the. If you seen him, you go, that's the chap out of the ads. You wouldn't take him serious as an actor, and that's what it was. I understand it now because I'm working on the other side.
People are much more careful, especially in this country now. Like somebody also from Tallaght who does a lot of stuff that people would know, but they mightn't know they know him, is Emma Kirwan.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
His voice has been everywhere, but his face hasn't been everywhere, and that's kind of premeditated. He would know, if I put my fucking face everywhere in all of these ads, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot for future projects.
Exactly. He's very smart, Emmett. He's very smart. And he had people around him telling him about the potential consequences of doing something like this. I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking, my family needs money. I need money. That's
Maybe
it.
you didn't have the luxury or the privilege to think about it.
No, that was it. That's as far as the talk process went.
Course.
And then it was when the second one came up and he offered me money again, I had rang Maureen Hughes, who's a casting director, and she's been great. You know, I know her 40 years, nearly 30 years. And I rang her and says, look, I'd rather offer me another ad. I'm asking you the truth. If I do this, is this going to hamper me getting more parts? And in a roundabout way, she kind of said, well, look, people know you as the fella in the first one anyway.
So the damage is done.
It's kind of, not in so many words.
The Milky Bar Kid is out.
The Milky Bar Kid is like that. There you go. The Milky Bar Kid isn't going to be
that's
doing
what typecast means, right? Say the Milky Bar Kid or Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin probably for a while after doing Home Alone was fucked. Couldn't do any other bleeding films. Yep. Or that dude out of Harry Potter.
Yeah. And it was like...
And he had to go off and do a mad bleeding naked horsey film or a play or something like that to break the typecast.
People take him serious. And if you could see it, if I looked back and I know it was to look at the trajectory of my career and I was getting 4 and 5 parts a year, consistent, bang, 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 bang. I was in everything. I was doing I was probably doing 40% of every film that was getting made in Ireland at the time. In some capacity. I was in everything.
So it didn't do any damage to your career.
But then when the ads hit, bang.
The ads came out afterwards. The ads weren't your first thing.
The horse was...
They pulled it in a little bit.
The reins of the career was pulled a bit. And it was, like, in hindsight.
Yeah, but the other thing is that was a different Ireland. That was... now most things we look at on screens are from an international thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your face you don't get typecast as quick, I think, if you're just doing Irish stuff. If you've just done an ad in Ireland now, that doesn't affect stuff in the UK or stuff in America.
No, see, back then as well, you didn't have the likes of Zoom auditions. You couldn't do an audition in London. You had to actually physically go to London.
Right.
So you weren't even trying to grow. So you're kind of restricted. For now, I'm only going to be doing roles in Ireland, in Dublin, as a Tallaght fella, as a fella from Jobstown, probably a scumbag, and that's the part you're going to be going for the next 5-6 years until you become a man, and you probably look a bit older. Then you might be a da,
The da
an
of the
alcoholic,
scumbag.
a da of a scumbag, or you're an alcoholic outfit.
Have you played any of them?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Why not?
That's just the way it is.
So what have you played? Because I would have known you from. I was actually looking at it today. Accelerator and forget the fucking name of the other one. Crush Proof.
Yeah.
And they were cracker. They were really good, and they're on. Fortunately or unfortunately, they're on YouTube, and you can watch them. Like,
I know.
You know what I mean?
Dear.
And that's probably from the DVD, the DVD days when people were banging DVDs around. It happened to the best films in the world. But I was just looking at them today, going, they're precursors to Love Hate.
Yeah.
They're the precursors to some of the best stuff that we've done in the last 5 years. And Love Hate is up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now they're doing Kin. These are precursors to that, where in Ireland, the working class North Dublin or scumbag Tallaght accent, there's now value in that. That's exotic around the world.
Jeff, can I ask you one question? Have you been called scumbag? You have.
Oh yeah.
Because you seem to be bringing up there enough times, and Dean seems to be throwing it there as
He
well.
was in that film, Scumbag.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Of course. And the same way someone from Ballymun, if they're walking around somewhere and you just even mention that they're from Ballymun, the first words that's coming is scumbag.
Why would people want to be calling their names? It sounds like a lot of hatred for absolutely nothing. Like.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to name names, but at some stage, we are getting introduced to a very, very well-known director in Ireland, and we are called. It was myself, Mark Dunn, and Gavin Kelty. Mark Dunn went on to do Love, Hate, and stuff. Gavin moved to America, and we didn't even have names. We were just called the Jobstown Tree. Or the Jobstown lads.
So you're being typecast again.
Why was the three working together all the time?
Three of us were getting working. We were doing everything because we're kind of the
Irish
safe
films,
option.
basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a
There
safe
was
option.
there was like the Jeff looking one. There was like the scumbag, tough looking,
Yeah.
good looking fella.
We need a gang of scumbags. Get the Jobstown boys.
Serious.
We need a gang
What
of
were you getting at?
gangsters.
You were telling us something there about some
and
director,
then
is it?
we got introduced to this director, and he said, "Get me the Jobstown." He did. No, he goes, I'm doing a scene. We were doing a scene, and he says, "Get me the Jobstown lads." And it was the Jobstown Youngsters. And here we kind of went, we have names, you know what I mean?
Is that going to be my title in the credits?
I have a name.
Jobstown 1,
Jobstown
That's
Jobstown
my
2.
name. Like I'm not disrespecting anybody else here on the thing. We're actually behaving ourselves very well here. No, we could behave bad if that's what's
Did
needed.
you actually hear him saying this?
I heard him saying it, yeah.
That's what they were calling them. Can I get
That's
the
what we were
But you
called.
corrected him on it, did you?
No, we didn't have the balls to correct him. I was only a young
Because you're
fella.
thinking of a part in the film, basically.
Yeah, I thought I'd lose the part, so I just went along with it. And then we were on The Boxer with Jim Sheridan. Dean knows him very well. Good friend of Dean's. And we were brought down, and one of the ADs says, because Vinnie Murphy he was our drama teacher. He directed Accelerator and wrote it. And he was very well known around the Dublin scene.
Right.
And one of the ADs, the assistant directors, referred to me. Jim was looking for someone to do a Northern Ireland accent for a bigger part. And one of the ADs was doing like little test runs. Can you do a Northern Ireland accent? And we were all doing it because we wanted to get a better part because we want to meet Jim Sheridan and this, that, and the other. So I was the best one at doing it. So she brought me down and she says, this is one of Vinnie Murphy's lads. And Jim says, "What's his name?" And she goes, "She didn't even know my name." And she says, "What's your name? Which one? No,
Which one are you?
Which one are you?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Jeff." And Jim says, "Pleased to meet you, Jeff." Yeah. And he took me off and had a chat with me for a few minutes. And he looked at me and he goes, "Are you pissed off about that?" And I goes, "I am a bit, yeah."
Yeah, did he?
Yeah. I goes, "I am a bit."
Good.
And he goes, "Don't be worried about it. You're Jeff. And he gave me a bigger part with more money.
Daddy.
We done the deal nearly between us. Like,
Brilliant.
he kind of goes, "Will you come in next week and I'll pay you 900 a day?"
Fucking deadly.
And I says, "Yeah."
Absolutely.
What is that, Jeff? What is that? Like, that's not typecast. It's just like, why wasn't the respect there? Or was it a lack of respect? That's what I'm...
My own opinion is because we weren't formally trained.
Okay.
That's what I think it is. a lot of the actors at the time were coming through the Gaiety School of Acting, or coming through, because their daddies had money to send them to these things. We didn't. We done our drama in
So
after school.
money talks.
Of course it does. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course it
So
does.
what did he say then when you come back in next week?
So we came back in, and I didn't tell him this, but I had done another film called Oliver Twist. It was a Disney thing with Richard Dreyfuss, and
Now, were you really in that now?
yeah, I was really in it, and I'm British in it. Great,
Oh,
great,
very
great
good.
accent.
You
Actually.
didn't get clipped out, no?
But didn't. No, brilliant. But they called me back over to London to do ADR work, like voiceover work, for anyone who doesn't know what ADR is. And I knew I'm going over to London the following week, but he just said to Jim, yeah, we'll be over, yeah. So I went in the following week and I done one day, and I went to London, done the ADR, came back on set, and Jim goes, did you know that you were going to London for 2 days? And he says, yeah. And he goes, you little bastard. He
Fair
goes,
play.
you got fucking paid more than I did.
He said.
That's deadly. But the respect is there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like...
Because he was working class, because
Yeah, Jim doesn't come for money.
He got it. Like these lads are trying
They're on
their
their
best.
arse.
They're on their
Yeah,
arse.
like the
They're doing
ambition
fucking
part.
ads for soap because they need to come
Yeah.
with a bleeding
Yeah.
bob
They're trying their
to marry
best.
that girl.
They're trying their best. They're just trying to make their way and eke their way to some sort of living or get some sort of respect. And he was kind of, I see it, lads. I see it. I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to help you along the way if I can. He brought us in on days that we weren't even needed to get us more money.
Serious?
Yeah.
More or less to give you confidence as well, like.
Yeah. Because we came in, we done 3 days in a row, and I think we'd only done one scene. And I was in the background watching a boxing fight, watching Daniel Day-Lewis boxing. And we were kind of going, what are we even doing here? We're not even needed.
Yeah.
But we realised
still put the hand
after
out
the
for the few
fact,
bob,
He was
though,
giving
yeah.
you
he's
a
trying to
dig
give us
out.
a bleeding few quid. He's trying to bang up a few bob for
There's
us.
money there. We can get these lads
Yeah.
sorted out. I can put a bit more in. That's what we were talking about, Richie,
Yeah.
about what can we put back in.
Yeah.
Because we can ride into town on the bleeding big horse that is, a Hollywood film, rape and pillage, make a great film, and then just pull out, and the community is left bleeding. Probably sometimes worse off because
Yeah.
they're not in control. Like Ballymun, for example, in Into the West, or Adam and Paul, we're not in control of the image that's put out, of this community. Although
Yeah.
people have made money on the back of not just this community, communities like this, and not just people like you, not just you, but people like you, who are working class, on their arse, want the glitz, want something in, that Hollywood kind of magic. But you haven't got a fucking clue what you're doing. You don't know the rules.
And unfortunately, they're few and far between. People like Jim Sheridan, and there's others like Vinnie Murphy as well, and Damien O'Donnell and the likes, that were giving us chances that are few and far between. And it's sad because I meet a lot of actors, a lot of young fellas and young girls come up to me and say, Jeff, how do we go about getting into this business? They're from Ballymun, or they're from Ballyfermot, they're from Tallaght, Clondalkin, whatever it may be. And they're kind of going, you need to get to a bleeding drama school, I think. And I don't have the money for a drama school.
Yeah.
So what do I do now? And you're trying to give them advice. So that's partly why I'm doing what I'm doing out here with the short films and stuff.
So what are you doing out here?
So
What are you doing in Ballymun?
I'm working as a youth worker, but as part of it, I've set up like a script writing group. It was initially set up just for young fellas to write down, and girls, that whatever shit is going on in their head, get it onto a page. Doesn't care about your literacy. You could be the worst speller or writer in the world. Get it out of your head onto a page. So it's out there now. It's out. It's not rattling around in there anymore. But as they were writing, I was going, this stuff is bleeding golden. This is unbelievable writing. This is better than some of the stuff so-called professionally trained writers have ever written.
The perspective is different, but also the writing is not bad.
It was brilliant. The stories were fantastic, and
Very good.
they're coming from young people from Ballymun, about Ballymun. It's not someone, like you just said, someone from working class or middle class, should I say, writing about what happens in Ballymun. You don't know what goes on in Ballymun. You're doing a bit of research,
True,
but you don't
yeah.
know. These are living in it.
That's right, exactly.
Like what Richie was saying on last week's one to you, Martin. When Richie was saying to you, I'm going to give you the script, and can you throw a traveller's eye over it? That's giving respect to what the story is. Others don't do it. They think they know.
Right. Yeah,
But it's
absolutely.
also giving options and opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing with young people in Ballymun. You're giving them options and opportunity. Because I'm going to big you up now. I think what you're doing here in Ballymun, and I'm going to try and champion your work and the work from the young people in Ballymun over the next couple of years with people that I know in the industry, like Jim and all that type of stuff, with lads I know in Google, and get you that 200 grand a year, that £1,000,000 a year to run, film workshops of an acting studio in Ballymun. You're doing tremendous work. You've had you've set the bar high, but you pull it off. You pull in your mates from the industry.
Yeah.
You've got a number of releases in the cinema, a number of releases on RTE, a number of releases in the Cannes Film Festival and other festivals.
Yeah, all over the world.
Did I hear him saying £1 million a year? Is that, are you looking for a partner,
Well, got a
Jeff?
job.
I'm free.
No, it's great to hear, but the young people are doing all the work. I'm telling you,
Very good.
this community, the pool of talent, it's amazing. The stories that I could make a film here every month.
Yeah, with all the stories.
The scripts they have, that good. And when we actually, the hardest part of this is actually picking one to make, because you only have the budget to make one, and it's a low budget.
Right.
There's a call out to anybody in this country or in the UK or whatever who has balls and who has billions. Come and get these bleeding scripts working.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, you won't regret it.
It's the reach now. Like the scripts that these young people have written, we made them to a professional standard. Like as Dean said, we pulled in favours all over the gaff. I'll get someone in who's like on one of the first ones we done Fingerprints. I'm gonna name him now, but we had Jimmy Smallhorn directing it, who directed a film what won in Sundance Film Festival in like Robert Redford's one. Then we had Fionn Comerford doing cameraman, who's done the camera on Harry Potter, Black Hawk Down. They done all this for free.
Right.
They gave their time. John Connors was involved in it. Mary Murray was involved in it. This is the first one, and it's just moved on and on and on. And every one we do, there's people lining up to help now.
So people that you know from the industry over the last 30 years that you've worked with on, low budget films, international films, and they know Jeff's working in Ballymun. There's some amazing scripts. The proof of the pudding is in. He won in Cannes. He was in the cinema. He done this. And they're coming to go, how can we help you achieve the dreams of these young people? And like stuff like that is amazing. It's not long term sustainable because at some point people need to be paid. There's certain jobs that need to be paid.
Yeah, you're
so let's be realistic.
Yeah, you're at their beck and call. Like if you had a budget, like I know you're talking to Richie last week, and you're asking him who's the boss on the films when you have the story. Yeah. It's like that. Whereas what Richie was saying, he ultimately has the last say because he's the director, and Alan Maloney was the producer and stuff.
Yes.
But with this one, the way we're making them, the people who are giving us a hand, it's around their timetable because we can't pay them. So it's kind of like when are you free? If we're trying to get Fionn Comerford, for argument's sake,
yes,
and Fionn says, Jeff, I can give you 2 days at the end of September. It has to happen. Them days. So everybody else, because he could make the film better than anyone, because that's the way he works.
Oh, yes.
So you kind of have to jump to his beat.
Yeah, it's kind of like the stuff I done here in Ballymun with Maverick and Hector, and they had a DOP, and he was, doing stuff all over the world, and he said, I have 3 days in this month, in this year, and we'll get it done.
That's you have to do it. You have to do it. And that's it. You get them in, and we make them. We do the best we can. We have a great editor. Makes them look great. And they go off. You just put them out. Like they've gone all over the world. The films, and we've made 4 or 5 out here. And every one of them, touch wood now, and I hope this keeps going.
Jeff just touched his head there.
I did. But,
wooden head.
Touch wood.
I heard of a wooden heart, and I've never heard of a wooden head.
I don't know why I do that.
Jeff, tell me something. No, all these,
hold on. Touch wood. What were you going to say? Touch wood. What?
That continues to happen.
Yeah.
These films will go around. They've been in America. They've been in Hollywood. The last one we don't want to hang out won 2 awards over in Cannes. It was shown in the Holly Shorts Film Festival in Hollywood, which is an Oscar qualifying one. Like these are little films that we're making here in Ballymun, in your community, and they're going over. They're getting shown in Hollywood. They're getting shown in Cannes. They're getting shown in Berlin. They're in Australia, in China. It's going all over the world. These things, and you're kind of going to the young people now. You can do that. You can
So
get that.
there's a bit of magic or a bit of knowledge or something or a bit of backing or something that turns that into beyond a hobby into career. You know what I mean? Like you've been lucky enough in the last whatever number of years to eke out some kind of career or work or job, consistently. I'm not sure how many films you've done. How many projects have you worked on?
To be honest, I don't know the exact number. I think it's somewhere between 55 and 65.
So how do we do that for other people? Because you're not common in this city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're becoming more and more common with stuff, with like Kane and Love Hate and all that. But Jeff O'Toole from Tallaght, involved in the music or in the film industry, is not a common thing.
I don't know where the next one's coming.
Yeah, but what you're doing now, how you're doing with the young kids now, and you're getting these little scripts that they're writing for you.
Yeah.
Are you doing this on your own, or have you got a company behind you that's giving you some help with it?
No, we do on our own.
Yeah.
We do on our own. We just bring in a fella, the guys who have production companies. Because when you're sending it to a film festival, you can't send it in as Jeff and Martin.
Right.
Like Jeff and Martin are sending this in.
Have you asked for any help on this, like from anybody the people out there that can help, like?
Yeah, and it's the people who are giving us their time on the crew.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you might get it, but financially, no.
I was going to say, do you not need like someone to support you, like the Irish Film Boards?
No, they never going to
with funds.
Never going to
I know you want to like sort of make a dream come true here for young kids, like.
Not a shilling. We get it through the youth centre here, and they give us what you can. It's brilliant. The pool is vast.
But it's a little bit disgraceful that you're so like 30 years in this business now, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've decided to say sort of help somebody else out, like, right? And yet you don't get no support from whoever supports the Irish Film Boards, or there's a few different people there that can help, can't they?
Yeah, there is.
And they're not stepping up to the board here.
No, unfortunately, Martin.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, look, this is the way it is. It's the same as anything.
Because wouldn't it be nice what you're saying now, the chances that you got and what you're doing, you're trying to give somebody else a chance at the same time, young people.
In a dream
Wouldn't it be nice
world,
if that can come true for them?
What my ambition, what my goal would be to do out here, and I said it to Dean before, I would love to have the fund to set up like there's an acting part of it where you're teaching young kids from the area how to act in it, and then there's another part how to get young kids from the area to do the crew, where they will shadow professional cameraman, they shadow professional sound designer, and so on.
Yeah.
And they're going to learn the skill as they're going, and they're going to crew the film, and you can pay them.
Yeah, very good.
So it's like a film school or a tech for film.
Yeah. And we could pay these lads. So say for argument's sake, we could go up onto St. Margaret's and say, you 6 lads, you're going to come with me and you're going to learn how to make movies from scratch. When you're finished this program, you're going to be able to pick up any camera and make a little film yourself.
Basically.
So you're doing an apprenticeship.
Yeah. We're going to teach you how to make a film yourself, and we're going to pay you
to do this.
To do it as you're going.
So you're basically paying them to learn also.
Yeah, I'd love that. And to do it with the actors as well, where you go in and say, there's 5 or 6 young traveller girls off to say, like what Richie was talking about last week about the film he wants to make, and has young travellers involved and the young traveller girls. Go up, do a 10-week or a 15-week training programme, teach them the fundamentals of acting.
9 and 10-year-olds basically.
Teach them how to act.
Kind of like the one that John had done. He'd done a great one on RTE, and he got Jim and Maureen and all involved.
I was involved to start with Kim, yeah.
And he's doing a similar one now. He's doing like workshops around the country, specifically for travellers. Now I know there's some settled people in it as well.
Yeah. Jeff, how do you feel about being about not having no support? Do you obviously feel let down? You do.
Yeah, like not from here, from this organisation.
Well, I'm saying let down by the
film
people
board,
that can help if they want to help.
They could help. They know how good the films do, and they're not the only one.
All Irish films seem to be interesting, don't they?
Yeah,
there's always good storylines there, isn't there?
We're the best storytellers in the world. Irish people were known all over the world for 300 years.
We were saying here last we done a podcast with Richie Smith, yeah, and we were talking about something similar now, right? Where the sort of the bit of subject came in there, whereas when Irish films are being made, especially in Dublin, yeah, and they use Dublin characters and Dublin actors,
yeah,
it makes it even 10 times better because it becomes a natural then, doesn't it?
Imagine trying to make the commitments of a snapper without Colomine in it.
Yes.
I'm putting a British actor in there trying to do
Or American actor
It
or
would be a
something
car
like that.
crash. That's what makes them films, and of course it's the backdrop of Ballymun as well on
Yeah.
the north side of Dublin. But having them Irish actors and then having the lingo and having that's what made
The
them.
poetry
It's
and the
actually
voice.
like-
Yeah,
It's,
that's what made
It's,
them. And
it's actually like acting with family. It's like making a film with family, isn't it?
yeah, like even when you hear them going, "You gobshy," when they think Meany says it about 20 times.
So
in
the
film.
talent is there. Maybe what's not there is the support. How did you get in? What was your break? What was your entry point into this?
It's acting.
Yeah, into the journey, because you're not just acting now. You're directing.
It was in Jobstown. We were in school up in Jobstown, and there was a nun up there, Sister Mairead Hughes, and she had brought Vinnie Murphy in because there was a bunch of young people who were on the periphery of getting probably thrown out of school.
The Jobstown 3.
And it was just a year before me. They were the ones who were just acting the mess. You know what I mean? They were just getting themselves into too much trouble. So what she done was she brought this guy up, this Vinnie Murphy. She got huge grants, chased all over the place. It was actually the church, I think, ended up funding it, and they brought Vinnie up, big money at the time.
The church did.
Yeah, the church had come across
the
with the
church
money.
comes in handy sometimes.
And what he said was to the young lads was, look, do this. You can get off one class early on a Wednesday. That was it. And the last class was maths.
That was the incentive.
That was the incentive. So he says, yeah, have a bit of that. Get off maths.
Fucking
Yeah.
right.
And what we doing in it? You're just going to act a mess. You're just going to slag each other. And you go, fuck this.
I
This
love that phrase, act a mess.
right. So we went, yeah, have a bit of that. Jumped into it. And it was just me and my mates kind of taking the piss out of each other and pretend to be gangsters or pretend to be...
in the acting classes,
Yeah,
basically.
just messing. And then what happened was he done what I'm doing here, and he made a short film. 3 short films with 3 different groups, and in the community, all shot around Jobstown. And then they were screened in the square cinema
In Tallaght.
in Tallaght. I was 14, and I went to watch it. I brought my man dad. And my man dad got dolled up,
Fucking
and we went to watch me in a film.
You
And I
weren't
seen
clipped out of this
myself.
one, Jeff, were you?
I seen myself on the big screen, and I was one of the main men in it. And I
This
got
is
a
1990.
How many- how many
Well,
years you feel?
summer of the World Cup.
in the square, Tallaght.
Yeah,
Manda.
yeah, dolled up to the nines.
Are your Manda still around?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking
Yeah.
deadly, man.
And we went to watch it, and I got a big round of applause after the film.
You were actually in this one.
And I came outside. I was actually in this one. And I came outside, and people were going, "Jeff, you're bleeding great. You're brilliant in it." And I was going, "I like this. I like how I'm feeling here. I like this recognition,
For
and
something
not
that
for
I
being
enjoy.
bold, not for being bad, or not for
Yes,
for
yes,
messing."
yes.
So then I skipped into drama the week after, and I goes, "I want to do this. Get me more parts. I want to do something." So he ended up just getting. He had loads of friends making short films. Because Film Base at the time were funding a lot of short
in Temple
films.
Bar, yeah.
So they were going, yeah, get Jeff in, get this in. So we were getting in and getting a few quid.
So the options and opportunities were there for you.
And then what happened was a big film came to Tallaght. It was called The Disappearance of Finbar. Jonathan Rhys Myers was in it. I think it was Jonathan Rhys Myers' first film. He went on to play Elvis. And
Hold on. Is that John Rhys Myers?
Yeah.
The new Elvis?
no, he was in an Elvis for
Ah,
HBO
okay.
a few years ago.
Okay,
Brilliant.
sorry.
But we got parts on that, and it was called we were a special extra. So we weren't just an extra; we were an extra. We had a lion,
Yes.
right?
And a name?
A lion, and no, Hooligan 1 or something like what it was, right?
Scumbag
Yeah,
2.
yeah. Hooligan 1, Joyrider 2, whatever it was, right? But
Little bastard 3.
we went over. This is in 1995 now, and we got paid £150 a day, and we done 7 days on it. So I got over £1,000 for 7 days.
What year was that?
95, 96, 95.
So a gaff was probably only about 30 grand
So
then.
I always had to get in this, and then we knew my man and dad had bills, rent arrears, and whatever else could have been. And we always had a thing was I'll give my man and dad half. That was the plan. That was the deal. And I always gave it to her, and I seen how much she needed, and I was going, "This is it. This is it for me.
Up to you, Jeff.
I'm all in here."
All in, Donny
That's
Brasco.
it. And that was it. Give me them. And I just rattled off parts after parts. It was in the van, then the General,
So
then
we came
Veronica
natural then,
Gerdon,
kind of.
then Accelerator, then Crush Proof, then Ballycus Angel, then Fair
Then
City.
it's so fat that fucked
then
everything
so
up.
fad, but
Heartbreak Road.
there's the gravy train over.
Get off you tick. Get the fucking that up.
That put the
Him
koi
manages
mash
this
on
fucking Egypt.
that put the koi mash on the gravy train.
Oh, that's a lovely story, and you can see the rhythm of it, and you can see you getting into it, and you're learning the ropes, and you're meeting people, you're meeting directors, actors, DOPs,
Everyone.
You're learning the whole fucking
I was
industry.
meeting everyone. I was done the Devil's Own, Brad Pitt. I met Brad Pitt out there, and we were teaching him how to play soccer. That's what we had to do, because we had to do a soccer scene, and he couldn't kick snow for rope, God love him. So we had to help him out. These little ragamuffins from Jobstown are trying to teach Brad Pitt how to play football. You couldn't visualize this. It was amazing.
But what happens in that when you open up into that world, all this alchemical fucking magic starts to happen. You know what I mean? So that's what gets me buzzing about even having a conversation with someone like Richie or someone like you about doing stuff in Ballymun, especially with young traveller people.
Yeah.
Fucking magic potential.
Because on most of the films, I know I was talking about that one or two directors who referred to us as the Jobstown Tree or whatever. But the majority of the times when we are going to films and they're getting picked up from the house in Jobstown, so there's drivers coming to the house, picking you up in these lovely cars. Like the outfit has a car in the garden, no tax, no insurance. He's taking the scenic route going everywhere. We live on the foothills of the mountains. And my dad would be only driving as far as Tallaght village. Yes. And you put out the top of the mountain, come around the back way because there's no police. So these big fancy lovely cars are coming to pick Jeff up.
Did I ask you, Jeff, could you drop me off the one time here? No.
It was.
Jeff, you were living a lie, man. You were living a bleeding lie.
I wasn't living a lie. I deserved it. I was working hard. I had talent. There was no one else in the country that was doing what we were doing.
So you literally felt like the president, like it is.
I felt like someone. This is what I
felt like
was.
someone.
You felt
I
recognised.
felt like someone. I felt like for the first. It doesn't actually fucking matter where I'm from, or how trained I am. I had no training, no gaiety skill, or no.
What skill did you have? What was
winging it, blagging. I had that kind of
courage. You had courage to go there in the first place.
I had a bit of charisma as
you
a
could
young
talk
fella.
the head off a hammer. You could turn your hand up to anything.
Yeah, I'd give it a go. Still would. Still do.
Can you ride a horse and speak Spanish?
Yeah, do it.
Si, senor.
Done it for that crush proof. Can you ride a horse? Yeah.
Can you rob a car?
My brother has one.
Can you rob a car?
That's what he said.
I dragged it on my life for this road, you dick.
I asked myself on the way into it. We done like 3 auditions for it, and this was going to be the second lead in a feature film. And I go, this could be the big break for me. So I says, Jeff, do what you have to do to get it. Because I had nude scenes in that film. I think it was 19 at the time. Was it 18?
On, you little bastard.
18, 19, whatever, 19. And I had nude scenes in it. And they were kind of going, Jeff, are you going to be okay with the nude scenes? And I was going, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I just want to get the part. I'll do whatever. So I've done 4 auditions, right? And they called us in for the last audition. Yes. And it was myself and 2 other lads. And he says, the director was English. And he says, do you know how to ride a horse? And the youngster goes, he's from like Donny Carney or something. And he says, yeah, I know how to ride a horse. So I said, you're a fella. Do you know how to ride a horse? And he goes, yeah. I goes, Jeff, you have to go one better here, son. Do you know how to ride? I goes, yeah, my brother has one.
Oh, you're riding here today on the back of it.
No horse. No horse. Never the back of a horse in my life. So he goes, does he? And I goes, yeah, lovely little pony. And here he goes, Rory. So they brought us out. They called our bluff and they brought us out to a place in Greystones and was ran by a stuntman called Philippe Zone. Best horse handler probably in Europe. Brought us all out. And there's 3 Jobstown fellas in
for
this
the horse.
They go up. He owns an equestrian place, right? He lets me go up on the horse there. So I got up on it. Needed a big step ladder, right? Couldn't even reach the stirrup, right? So I got a ladder up onto it. And he goes, just take for a little trot around. So I'm trotting around. Please.
At least you knew what trotting was.
I goes to the horse. No, I just kicked
jump.
it. I just kicked it because my dad had horses. My dad always had horses all his life. He done a lot of dealings with the travelling people over the horses. And I said it to me dad, when I go on the back of a horse, what do we do? Kick it. And when you're got to the pace that you're okay with, just give him a little tug back, and he'll maintain that pace. I goes, right, I'll do that. So I get the horse about. He starts running off, and I goes, "It's okay. That's fast enough now." So I'm going to give him a little tug, and he's going around, and I'm directing him around. And I goes, "I'm doing bleeding great here. I thought I was bleeding Frankie the Tardy on this thing." Right? So I done 2 or 3 laps of the yoke, and I come back around. And Philippe calls the horse over, so I get off, and he comes over to me. He goes, "You're never on a horse before, were you?" I goes, "No." And he goes, "Fair play to you." But he went and told the director he was the most natural on the horse.
Lovely. Yeah.
Got the part.
Once again, you bluffed it again.
Bluffed it. That's it. That's what it's all about.
That's it. I think I think Ryan Lincoln or Adam Muhammad or one of them was going for a role in some kind of film, and it could have been fucking anything, because because of the connections that we have in the community, you get phone calls like you were getting Star Wars phone calls and all this type of stuff. But so it was for a big role, and I was like, lads, any of you know how to ride a horse? And coming from Ballymun, you think, never on the bleeding horse in their lives.
Oh,
and he went up to this place, and the lads were like, you really need to be able to really ride a horse here. There's no wing in this. So come along for 6 weeks and do the fucking training. Like, you know.
That's what you have to do. Same as anything, Martin. Look at, come on.
You pulled it off,
Come on, you have to tell a little black to get the job. That's what you do.
What about the driving scenes now, Jeff, where it is robbed cars? How'd you fake that one?
We didn't. We
Did you even drive at the time? No,
couldn't drive. I was driving a straight line.
But you got the scenes basically.
Driving a straight line. Yeah, got the part. Yeah, got the part because the guy who directed it was my drama teacher.
So did you lie your way into that one as well?
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah.
So those ones like Crush Proof and Accelerator, they were like Ireland 90s joyriding-y kind of films.
Yeah, they're a cult. They still hold their own now. It's great. People that come up to me even still now, and they're like, what they were made 22 years ago, 23 years ago. Some I'm going, so I watched that last week, Jeff. That's bleeding great.
Yeah.
It still holds its own. You know, these things. People are always going to have horses in Dublin, and people are always going to like fast cars.
Yeah.
Young folks are always going to like these things.
And you're
throw a
always
little bit of drugs into it and a bit of working class areas.
Yeah.
That shit is still happening. People still can relate to it.
And you're always going to chance your arm and dip in and out of acting.
Yeah,
Because
if the right
you've
parts
done
come
stuff.
up.
You've done stuff like recently enough.
Yeah, if the right parts come up now, because I have a good job, I don't have to do everything anymore.
You don't look like the young fella that made the so fast.
Yeah, I don't like I'm a little bit more overweight than I was and I have a beard. That's it. That's the only difference. I'm still young at heart. I'm still good looking, Dean, you know.
What's your man's name? Ricky, the Liverpool fella?
Ricky Gervais. I'm not. Ricky Tomlinson.
Ricky Tomlinson?
My dad's the image of him.
Ricky Gervais and Ricky Tomlinson had a child.
I swear to God, I was in Liverpool with my man and my wife, and people were stopping me dad and he thought he was Ricky Tomlinson, the royal family. So he went home, he had to shave.
Liverpool, Ricky Gervais and Ricky Tomlinson kept kicked out of the bar.
Yeah, but that's it. You just. But it was happening so quick. There was so much happening all the time. You're going from film to film to film on TV shows and this, that, and the other, and you weren't taking a breath and going, Jesus Christ, Jeff, you're doing all this. It was just happening. I only realised when it stopped happening, when it stopped, the parts stopped coming in, and then you're going, maybe I should have been taking stock of all this and trying to go further afield. Like I had options to go to London a couple of times. I've done a film in New York and they asked me to come back. I never took them for whatever reason.
Yeah. I always
maybe I should have.
When I hear that type of story, I reminds me of someone like Riz Ahmed. Yeah, and Riz Ahmed is like London actor, rapper, kind of reminds me of Ryan Lincoln, and he took the opportunities that were thrown at him, and now he's like Barry. Barry Keoghan.
Yeah.
He's like a leading man now.
Yeah. Look,
he just took the risk. He was a chancer, both of them just chances. Just stick your name in the hat. Can you rap? Can you dance? Can you sing?
Yeah. There's a few that came after, like Lawrence Kinlan. He'd come from town, from inner city, and he couldn't took the same chances we did. Done very, very well. Excellent actor. Barry came after him from a similar area. Took the chances, took the gamble. Excellent actor, doing great, both of them.
Very good.
And it's great to see that for young people coming up, you don't have to have all these professional trained skills.
No.
You can get there. As you said earlier on, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what lads in this community have other lads would be gagging for. Like, I think I told the story in one of the earlier podcasts where there was a guy who was looking to learn the accent for Love, Hey, and he was hanging around with me and a couple of my mates for a while, and he was going, lads, yous have so much fucking buzzy, natural charisma. If you could bottle it, it would be worth a fucking €1 million a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I know you, Martin said it in the last podcast when you're hearing other actors trying to do the Dublin accent.
Yeah.
Some of them are like a car crash.
Some of them can make a mess of it, can't they?
It's horrible. And particularly, like you had said about the travelling community, it's a tough role to take on, to play a traveller on screen for 2 hours and nail it. That's a tough job.
For non-traveller.
For non-travellers.
Yeah. Like
That's
I've seen
tough,
the ones that
tough
John
job.
done, like King of the Travellers and
Yeah,
those
but
types of ones.
it's no problem.
Yeah.
But then ask John to play someone from Jobstown for 2 hours and talk like me for 2 hours.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't be able to do it.
He'd probably chance his arm with
Of course he would, because he's like way we are. We're wingers. We'll give
That's
it a go.
That's why we always say, Jeff, it's not easy being a traveller.
What is your relationship? Because you mentioned there your dad and buying horses off travellers and all that type of stuff. And you listen to the podcast, and I know that we've talked, and you would have had traveller friends growing up and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of travellers around Jobstown and Tallaght.
A lot. Great. Just been travellers. I've been around travellers all my life, all since I can remember. We moved to Jobstown in 1982, and the first family who moved in across the road from us was a traveller family, the Cassidys. And my dad was already dealing with horses at the time, and he just seen them with horses, and that was it. The connection was made that day.
We're up in the bleeding hills here.
We're on the edge of the mountains, and that was it. My dad went straight over, introduced himself, want to do a bit of business, blah blah blah, and then that was it. They were friends for life. My dad was in there. We were in the house all the time. They were in our house until they moved. They were from Carlow. They moved back down to Carlow. Lovely people. Salt of the earth. Jesus, like, they had a lot more than we did. And I know I was listening to a couple of them where the podcast you were saying where the travellers were going around this community knocking on the door and asking for bread or milk or whatever it may be. We used to get stuff off them.
Yeah.
Like, we had nothing.
Well, as Martin says, if you look around Dublin, you look around places like Ballymun, there's settled people or country people have fucking next to nothing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So-
it's everywhere, isn't there?
But we
And
we have a lot in common.
Old Mags Cassidy across the road, and the nanny. She was the nanny. She idolised me mother.
Very good.
And my mother would have spent a lot of time with her daughters, Josie, and they became friends. They'd go to the bingo and all this, and they were just thought, but we didn't know you were. It's hard. We didn't even know you were travellers.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They just doesn't just my man's friend. That's my dad's mate.
What do you mean? You knew they were travellers, but you didn't treat them any different? Is that
No,
what
we
you're saying?
didn't even know. We didn't know. We just thought you were from the country. You're from Carlow, and that's why they were introduced to us by my dad. My dad wouldn't have said, "Here's Noel coming in. No, he's a traveller." He wouldn't have said that because he was kind of the same as him. We're just two men trying to bring our families up here.
And they had names, just like you felt alive when you had your name.
So when did you
when
realise
had
they
your
were
role.
travellers?
You know what I mean?
Realised to our travellers. Well, I'll tell you, one of the sons, Jim, breakdancing scene was on. Remember all the breakdancing, the lino and all was out.
What's this in? Oh, the scene of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking
the
about a scene in a
breakdancing
film.
scene
I
was
thought you
out.
were in a breakdance film.
And every kid was doing the breakdancing.
The era.
And the son, Jim, was the best breakdancer in Jobstown at the time.
Serious?
Right? He was spinning around on his head and everything. And someone had referred to him as Traveller Jim. And I was one of the lads just on the road had said, "Oh, it's Traveller Jim's turn." And I was going, "Traveller? I didn't even know what a traveller was."
Yeah.
And I couldn't have said, "What do you mean a traveller, Jim?" And then you're going, "Oh yeah, they're travellers." And then I kind of started to find out, oh right, that makes a bit of sense now because they'd be there and then they're not there for a while. You know what I mean? They hit you up and they're gone.
Yes.
And I was kind of going, I just got on holidays. That's what my dad would say. I just got down to Carlow for a couple of weeks.
He would obviously
He would know, but it wasn't important. So then I was kind of going, all right. But then I was, he's a traveller as well. He's a traveller. He's a traveller. And I was going, no, I didn't know. And that was it. They were our friends. They weren't. There's no.
Now you were learning who travellers were,
Yeah,
basically.
and it made no odds. Made no difference to me.
No.
But what year was that? Mid-80s?
Mid to late, yeah.
And where did you move from?
Here.
Oh, you were in Ballymun, were you?
Yeah.
No
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
You
Slow
probably
growth.
told me that, but you know what I mean? I didn't know. So
Slow
are you born at Ballymun?
No.
Where are you?
My daddy is Crumlin. Mother is Drimnagh. Then I moved into my nanny's house in Drimnagh when I was born. And then my man and dad got a flat in Ballymun. My brother came along in 1980, sister in 82. Too many people in the flat. Out the Tallaght. That was it. 82.
I had a few mates like that happened to them. Tallaght started to open up. We were here, we were like 8, 9, 10, off, mooching and robbing and all this type of stuff, and then a few of them just went gone.
Yeah.
Out to Jobstown.
No, my dad, Jesus, we loved it here. Loved it in Ballymun.
Yeah.
My man and they didn't want to live. Just that there was too many kids now. We only had a 2-bed flat, and there's 3 kids, 2 different sexes. As soon as my sister came along, it was kind of like, that's it. You're gonna have to move on.
Because I used to play on where Martin lives. Up, it wasn't really a halting site there. It was more like a camp in those years. And I remember about 1980, 81, 82. So I would have been about 8, 9, 10 years of age. I used to play with kids up there. Didn't know they were travellers, and then we were kind of told, "Don't play with the travellers." That was kind of like a thing, a vibe that went around the place.
Yeah,
Don't play with the travellers.
We would have been.
So were you told that in Tallaght?
We'd have been told the other way. We'd been told the other way. We would have said, "Make sure you're playing with the traveller lads.
Yeah, wow.
Don't leave them out." It was that sort of thing.
That's steady.
My dad would have been going, like, "Make sure you're playing with them. You're playing with them first. You're going to try to sneak off or that. Hold on, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're playing with him first. No, that's your mate." So what happened was then I became very close friends with one of the traveller lads, and he was my best mate. He was my best friend.
Lovely. Wow.
Up until about 93 or 14, and we went to the secondary school. Because another time, I don't even know how I feel about this, but I'm quite smart.
Yeah.
And JR's literacy probably wouldn't have been the best.
He was your mate.
Yeah.
It was his name, JR, yeah?
Yeah, JR. And then, so we were split. We went to secondary school, we were split away from each other.
Right.
So I wouldn't see him. So he's off making friends, I was off making friends.
What do you mean you were split? Just 2 different classes? Or?
2 different classes.
And
It wasn't like a traveller class.
It wasn't a traveller class, yeah.
No, it was done in academic, smart kids all together. Then the next best all together, next best, and all the way down. And JR would have been in there on the middle. So he was kind of with, like, they weren't bad kids. You know what I mean? He made new friends. I made new friends. Still pals, but it's not as tight as you were.
Yeah.
But you still live beside each other still?
Yeah, they're right beside each other, right beside each other. And it's still the same all the time, and it's same when we became men in 18, 19, it's same in the pub with his family. But I would have stayed up in that house a lot. Sleepovers and stuff, and vice versa. Like, we are like brothers. He hadn't got a brother at the time. He used to only boy of about 9 kids, I think, at the time.
And was it strange in the
So
community
you were going to say 19.
Was it strange in the community to see a traveller and a countryman, as a settlement, 2 best friends in that area?
No.
So was it strange to other people around?
No. A lot of people are doing it.
Not where you were. You were up in Tallaght, up in the sticks, up in the hills.
Everybody, I think most of us had traveller friends.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. Like, it's like if I have a mate who's black.
Yeah.
Like, it's my mate still. That was the way it was. There was no Jeff's hanging around with a traveller. It wasn't like that. It was just, he was one of the lads on the same football team as me. You know what I mean? There was 3 travellers on the same football team as me. They were as good as everybody else. They were just on the team. They were just lads from the area. But I used to spend a lot of time there. Me and JR would work for his daddy, Johnny. He'd have us out working, out in the van with him, out the back hunting the sticks. Very hard working man. Like my own dad done the wheeling dealing with the travellers, doing the horses and stuff like this. But we used to see Johnny going out in the morning, and we'd go out with him 5:30, 6 in the morning. If I was staying over, he'd be going, "You're coming to work in the morning." And he'd have us up.
Serious, yeah.
Chopping sticks out the back. He had this shed, I remember, he had this shed, like a concrete shed out the back, and it had like a little hatch. The door was jammed. So
Was he chopping the sticks to sell them in the area, basically?
yeah, not in that area. We'd go to Rathfarnham, go to the posh areas.
Get a couple of more quid for it.
Yeah.
Very good.
We'd go to Rathfarnham, Dundrum, wherever. And myself and JR, because JR was the eldest son, we'd be in the front of the van, listening to all the great music.
Probably
Hold on,
Elvis.
what was in the shed?
Sticks,
Right,
floor
okay.
to ceiling.
Yeah.
You open up the hatch and the sticks just poured out on top of you, and you had to put it shut.
So this is 80s,
This was 1990.
1990s
91.
Dublin, Tallaght,
Yeah.
Rathfarnham. People are out working, chancing their arm, chopping sticks, coal deliveries. People are burning coal on the fire.
Yeah.
And sticks on the fire was a thing.
Oh, we sold. Jeez, you couldn't sell them quick enough.
So basically, you were best friends anyway, and you worked together, and you got out and about selling all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Went to the car boot sales with Johnny and JR, buying bits and pieces. He was great. He'd go out and he'd buy a washing machine for a tenner in the morning. He'd have it sold that night, 30, 40 pound. And he'd be kind of going, like, there's £3 for you or £2 for you at the time. We get wages off.
That was the wage.
And that was the wage. We loved it. We were kind of going, Jesus.
What can we get tomorrow? What can we flip tomorrow?
I'll tell you what the weirdest thing was. I don't know where he got it from, but he said to us, we're going out again to Rathfarnham, and he says, you're going to be selling bags of pasta. Giant jumbo bags of pasta for £1, right? I'd never seen
You
pasta.
thought the film industry was interested?
I'd never seen pasta before. And either the
You thought you
JR,
had sticks for the fire?
either the
did you?
JR or Johnny. Johnny didn't even know what it was. He's going, are you selling that? So we were going up to houses, trying to buy a bag of pasta for £1. And they were going, yeah, you know what these
Was
pasta.
this after the
They knew
sofa
it.
or before?
Oh, this is long before.
Right.
Long before. But they were only 10, 11, 12
You were
doing
going
this.
down to the posh gaffs to sell them pasta.
11, 12. And then the next day, Johnny would come down and give us our £2 or £3. And we'd be off doing whatever we're doing with the money. Great crack. Lovely family. Still see them now. And they were like second home. There wasn't like, I'm going up to my travel at mate's house.
Do they still
And
live
did they
there?
move?
Yeah.
Did they move? Oh, they're still in Tallaght, aren't they?
Still there. Yeah,
And is
yeah.
your mate still around, can I ask?
Fortunately, no. Unfortunately, no, he passed on about 14 years ago.
Was he
Tragically,
the oldest in the family?
he was. No, he had an older sister, a year older than him.
He was the oldest lad, was he?
Yeah. It's one of those things. It shouldn't have happened.
It was hard for you, Jeff, also.
Very, very hard. Yeah. Lovely
And
fella.
how long was that since it happened to him? Since he died?
About 14 years. He was only.
Honest.
He wasn't even 30. He was
40, yeah.
28,
Serious?
29. He had two kids and one on the way. Lovely wife.
Is his kids still around? Yeah.
Yeah. His son
They're
was
with the
in.
grandparents now, like.
It's weird that his eldest son was in the same class as my eldest daughter. So they kind of knew each other
Oh,
as
is
well.
that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be walking down the road, and his son, young JR, they called him the same name, and he'd stop me and go, Jeff, didn't you know my daddy? Because he'd have a big gang of friends around him.
Serious.
And they obviously would have been watching the film. They were watching
You and my
exact-
daddy sell pasta?
Didn't you know my daddy? And I goes, he's my best mate.
Breaking your heart about you.
Yeah, and they were going to go, because you telling the boys, they must have watched Accelerator, or they must have watched something,
Yeah.
and he was telling them all, that's my daddy's best friend. And they were going, will you ever piss off? So you couldn't wait to
He
find me.
wanted them to say.
Yeah. But it knocked the family to bits, knocked the whole community to bits. So it's not just the family.
Wow.
The whole community. He was a very well respected. They're a hugely respected family in Jobstown. Everyone in Jobstown knows who they
What's
are.
the family name?
Cunningham.
Cunningham, yeah.
And when you say respected, they're respected too. Their good ways and kindness
Good ways,
and all that.
good, lovely. There's not one person in the family had ever caused any trouble or anything.
No.
Like the other son Joe, who helped me do the safe talk with the traveller lads up there in Tallaght.
Oh, let's talk
He
about
works for the Dublin County Council. Very hard grafter. He's married to a settled girl who's actually best friends with my sister. It's mad. It's all like, it wasn't like that. Everyone.
Sounds like you've like it's just community. You've got but there's a special graw or a special love you have. It sounds like for these travelling people.
Yeah,
Family.
I liked the family unit because I have a real close family. Me, my brothers and sisters are pretty close. My man, dad, salt of the earth.
Ricky Tomlinson.
Didn't have a shilling, but I don't know how they done it. I still don't know how they brought 5 kids up through 2 recessions in Jobstown with not a shilling.
When you're bleeding €1,000 every couple of months from the films,
But this even before that, I'm talking like early 80s, mid 80s,
Yeah.
didn't have a pot of piss in. And they still managed to keep us all going. We didn't even know we were poor, because not everyone was poor. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't look out and go, oh, bleeding, Niall has this, or JR has this, because none of us had it.
See that phrase you said there, didn't have a pot to piss in. Because in a few of the episodes I was doing these sayings, slaggings and superstitions. And we're at the covering loads of sayings and slaggings. And there's a saying, piss poor.
Yeah.
And it came from, one of my mates sent me this, it came from, they used to tan hides with urine. So you could sell your urine to the tanner. Yeah.
Very good, yeah.
And if you didn't, so you brought it down in a bucket.
Bet you didn't know that, Martin, did you?
No, I didn't know.
And so you brought it down in the bucket, and if you didn't have a bucket, they'd say you didn't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
I didn't know where it came from, but it's just something we always hear my dad saying, these things just catch on, don't they?
It's not really important where they came from, is it? It's just people say them anyway.
No, it's kind of like mannerisms you picked up from my dad. I'm very like me dad. I'm very like him. I picked up all his manners.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad.
Do you ever get that moment where you feel like I'm me dad?
Yep.
My mate Sparky does it. Sometimes he drives through a place and he starts pointing out, that's that place over there. That's where your man used to live. And he goes, that's exactly what me fucking dad does.
But that's what we do. Like, I was listening to how Martin was talking about his father in some of the podcasts and how high regard he holds his dad. I'd be similar to that.
El Flakes.
I'd be similar to that. He's a great man. He's doing a great job on us. Bring up 5 kids. I'm my mother. Bring up 5 kids in that area with crime, poverty.
Yeah, you're filling me heart. My dad's the same.
You have to give them respect because
none of us
life
ever
wasn't
had any
easy for
trouble.
them anyway.
None of us ever brought a bit of trouble to the door. Never any trouble with police. Never any drug problems. Nothing like that. What he didn't have in terms of money, and my mother didn't have in terms of money. They gave us in love, and we didn't have holidays. Never went on a holiday. Never went on a holiday as a family, ever. But
Not Blackpool or Bosnia or anything like that.
No. Went camping for 2 days up in the Hellfire Club.
I used to go to a place up behind you.
That was the only holiday we ever had.
Yeah.
Still remember it. We all still remember it. But my dad was, my man dad one of these kind of, my dad would be out playing football with all the young, me and all my mates on the road. He'd be getting in there, or he'd be bringing us off to play games somewhere, or playing pitching with us.
We'd find ways of keeping busy still, like.
Yeah.
But was there many people in the area going on holidays at this, when you wouldn't be going at this time, like?
Some of them, you'd not.
There wouldn't be a lot of people able to afford holidays now, would there?
No, some of them. Well, it wouldn't be to abroad. They might go to Basetown or Cork or Tramore or
had the
something.
bleeding playground of
the mountains,
the Dublin Wicklow Mountains,
and that was it.
Like we used to go to a place up there from Ballymote.
It was amazing.
And we'd camp out in a place. We'd be up on the Kings River, a place up there. And I'm telling you what, and my dad used to bring us up, and we used to bring a kettle and a chicken and, you know what I mean, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And we'd just make a holiday out of it.
I'll tell you, myself and JR, and another friend of mine, Graham O'Donoghue, he's passed on as well. But the 3 of us were thick as thieves. And we had got a few quid off Johnny. And JR and his daddy used to watch the Westerns, right? Like a lot of travelling men like the Westerns. And he seen a film, and they were all out camping with marshmallows and sausages and like meat. So we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So we bought sausages, and we bought a packet of marshmallows and burgers, and we got sticks out of forest beside us, and we went up the mountains, and we were going to be like cowboys. We lit a fire, and we were probably cooking the sausages for about 4 hours. Still raw.
Just hanging over the fire.
Just singeing the skin. Still raw. We couldn't look at each other going, let's wrap this up. We're not built for this.
Rolling.
We're not built for this shit. Great times. Lovely guy, lovely family. That's it. We get all things happening.
Well, it's great that you can actually talk good about them, that you're not talking bad about them. Like you didn't have anything that's bad to talk about.
No. I was trying to rattle my head because I knew it was probably going to be asked, and I was trying to think what negatives.
There was none, wasn't there?
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to think of what negatives some of the travellers in Jobstown. I can't remember any.
And that's the kind of typical thing, you know what I mean? We mentioned travellers and we want to fill that space with something negative.
Yeah.
What I think this podcast is doing, and the conversation especially with you, is let's not be typical and do that. Let's explore the amazing stuff. Let's explore the stuff that actually really happened. And it blows my heart open to be around travellers. You know what I mean? It's a fucking.
As I said there,
I'm spoiled with that being around travellers.
Yeah, I just loved the family unit of it. I loved it. I love going in, and Bridgie would be making food for everyone, and it was like
What was the mother's name? Bridgie, was she?
Bridgie, lovely woman.
And what was the father's name again?
Johnny.
Johnny. But
Cunningham.
so was
Bridgie,
the young lad G.R. Was he Johnny as well?
John Jr.
John Jr.
He's
Oh,
John
right.
Jr. Jr. But,
Bridgie and Johnny.
we'd go into the house and all the sisters would be there watching Grease or something. But I was watching the same film on the loop.
And Ours was Blazing Saddles.
You're watching Grease. No, that explains where you are. You're watching Blazing Saddles on a loop. But we'd go into the house and I was like, obviously they had the shower room, sitting room. You can't go in there.
Yes.
The sitting room was where all the investment was. They bought all the porcelain and they bought all the
silver and whatever. Yeah.
That was the investment room when the girls are getting married on or whatever. But we went to the kitchen and there was always something cooking, always nice food, always ham and
bacon, lettuce, or bacon, cabbage.
The cabbage getting cooked in the bacon water.
I'm not leaving here too early.
And what she used to do was she'd send down and she'd say, JR, go and see is Jeff and Graham around, and she'd try find us.
Wow.
To get us up.
To be involved
She'd
with
have
dinner,
loads of food. She'd have loads. They could feed everybody. And the neighbours were coming in, and the house was packed. And it was just the other settled kids, us, the traveller kids, everyone, all eating together, eating bacon sandwiches in the garden. It was mad. It was just, well, you didn't know. Again, didn't make a difference if you're travelling.
But that's like, you can't buy that. That's community. That's the thing. If I'm addicted to anything, it's community.
And you're
Fucking
brilliant. And I loved. It's a song that's in my mind, and I thought it was made up. And it was a song called Podgian's Party. And it's right.
Seamus Moore sings that.
Seamus Moore sings that. And we used to listen to that in the van.
You know a bar of it?
Yeah, it was the start of it was
the pub in
in the pub in Tullawageen at a party for Podgian. And the cracker was mighty that night. There's this. But I used to love the chorus, right? Because the chorus was the first time I was outside the word knacker, right?
Yeah.
Because the chorus would be loud knock him on it was the Garda, she a carny outside, she a carny, right? Like, this is what
it was the Garda, she a carny outside.
4 big red faces, hobnails and braces, and the knackers were roaring to fight. Right? And it was that, and I couldn't wait to sing it because I was able to say the word knacker around the two boys.
That's lovely.
And they'd be going to look at me waiting to see, is Jeff going to sing this bit? And I'd be singing it out the fan, and then I'd forgot about it. I goes, that has to be a made up song. There's no way there's a song. And then,
but it's done in such a way that it's not fucking piss take or offensive. I'll
tell you what happened. I went down to Tramore about 4 years ago, and who did I bump into? But one of the Cassidys from across the road, because that had moved to Carlow.
The ones that moved,
Yeah, I bumped into one of them. That was my dad's friend. Got chatting to him, and he was asking, "How's all the boys up in Jobstown? How's Johnny Cunningham?" Oh, yeah, all grand. And I goes, "No, can I ask you something?" I goes, "There used to be a song," and I started singing it to him. And he goes, "Hold on." And he took out the phone. He's there, Seamus Moore, and he played it.
Yeah.
And I was going, yes, Spotify. That's it. I'm gonna find that. I have it on my phone.
Happy days.
It's on my playlist. And when it comes on, it would remind me of JR and Johnny, and I'd have a laugh to myself. Or brilliant.
Okay, what I was saying there, Jeff, was, right, you're about an hour and a half here at the moment, yeah?
Yep. And
we fired all the questions we could at you, yeah? So I think it's time we gave you a little bit of a break, yeah? So if you want to, feel free to ask Dean a few questions. Work away, then I'll help you out.
I feel it's set up here.
I'll help you out in any way I can, okay? I'm on your side, Jeff, yeah?
I'm going to ask the questions that I want to ask, but would you ask me to ask them?
Yeah. Martin wants to plant the question in your brain.
Feel free there.
To vex me.
No, I think what I'm getting is that obviously you've already explained why you set up the podcast in the first place, but and I know you're fascinated with the traveller culture as a whole.
Blows me heart open.
Why?
Because I think, like, we're all traveller. Whether or not we want to bleed and admit it or not, we're all traveller. We're all fucking on this island. We're all nomadic. We're all living off the land, you know, for as many years as you want to go back. And I don't care how far you want to go back. You know what I mean? Pagan, fucking Viking, the whole bleeding lot. There's a bit of traveller in us all. We're all Irish. the community aspect of the traveling community, I just love community anyway. Obviously, there's the stones we can throw at the traveling community. How women are portrayed, the non-paying of taxes, the bleeding, the robbing, and all that type of stuff. But trust me,
which we have in all walks of life.
But settled people are black belts at that shit as well. There's no bigger fucking criminals than settled people and middle class settled people. And
I was thinking about that. I get what you're saying, and it is all walks of life. And the thing what got me, especially because I was around them all the time, the whole robbing thing, and I got thinking about it, of where's that coming from, what's happening. And I was kind of going, if I'm a father of 2 or 3 children, and I'm a young man, I'm 22, 23, whatever, and I'm not educated, it's not my fault I'm not educated. This is the way my culture has made it. And I need to provide for my kids. Not only that, but I've told my wife's father that I'm going to provide for her as well. Because that's what happens. You're telling the wife, if I'm in that situation, I'm going to go, no one's giving me a job here. I'm trying. Because some of them do. And I'm going, I'm trying. I'm trying to get a job. I'm not getting a chance because of my education, which isn't my fault. I need to start providing soon. My kids are hungry. I'm hungry. My wife deserves a better life because I've told her father I'm going to give her a better life. We'd probably have to think about if I need to, I will. If I have to do it. I think
there's a bit that comes before that, because I remember in the early 70s, right? My dad's from Sheriff Street. They walked and robbed, yeah. But at that time there was work for travellers. Travellers had jobs. You know what I mean? They knocked around, they done tinsmithing, all this type of stuff. And I think for me the big thing that happened was the Itinerancy Act, that kind of was written in the 60s, but took hold in the 70s. And then it was like the shutters got pulled down. The shutters got pulled down at the end of the 70s. And I was told as a young person, don't play with the knackers. And I think from that type of time, all the options and opportunities that were available to everybody in the country, including travelling people, was kind of like, no, the shutters were pulled down for travellers. You're not getting these options and opportunities. You're going to be pushed out to the corner over there. You can't just pull up to any camp or any side of the road that you want. We're going to have special classes for your kids, actually.
That was out in Jobstown as well, in one of the schools. They'd put the traveller lads in the same class as the kids who wouldn't be the best, the settled kids now, who wouldn't be the best academically. Now, we had a major issue with that, because JR, 6, 7 other traveller boys and girls were and they were as smart as I was at that time. And then we went into secondary school, and they weren't progressing as quick as we were. We were even acknowledging as kids, 13, 14. That's why they were the same as us 3 years ago in terms of academia. But yous have made them learn at a slower rate.
Before we finish up, I just want to talk about some of the other work that you do, and specifically around suicide in your community, because I know you were involved in setting up a project with the HSE that's gone really, really well, which started off in humble beginnings. In a boxing club, there was a tragedy with a young guy, and you had a boxing coach there who felt he should have seen this coming.
Yeah.
But you were kind of saying to him, because you told me this story before, where you said, look, you're not trained in any of this. It's not like you're a mechanic fixing the car and you're fully trained up. You're a boxing coach. You're trained in boxing. You're not trained in suicide, especially in young people. And just tell us a little bit about that program, and why was the need to do it in Tallaght, and what's it like now?
What was the name of the program also?
It's called the Safe Talk program. It's a HSE led program. It's around suicide intervention and prevention. And we saw the need because Jobstown, which is our community, we love it. It would become the national black spot. We were the worst, per capita, it was the worst community in the whole of Ireland, 32 counties of Ireland, for suicide and self-harm. And it didn't sit well with us. It became the norm. The numbers were huge. There was like one a week for between November 2017 And the first week of March 2018, there was
Sad.
one a week, there was, on average. And that wasn't, it was heartbreaking to see the families of people we know, our community members. So we said, look, this can't happen. So I had done the Safe Talk training through work. So I'd asked Frank Stacey from the boxing club and 30 other community members who would be interacting with young people more so. But we had bar staff, post office staff, chess club, so on. And they all said yeah. So we got the training done. We filmed the training. We filmed the people then. We went to them and got them to do a little bit of a skit on a video, basically saying, I'm Jeff O'Toole, it's safe to talk to me. I'm Dean Scurry, it's safe to talk to me. To let the community members know who actually has the training. There's no point in us all doing training if nobody knows who has it.
True, yeah.
It's pointless. I have to train in my house, but Johnny down the road is struggling.
And this is just basic kind of suicide awareness training.
It's signposted, yeah. The training is to notice the flags, notice the signs, and what to do next.
That's what I was going to say. What was the training about? Like, were you actually reaching out to people to come and talk to you if they have problems in their lives, kind of thing, and what's going on in their heads?
It's kind of noticing if we're close friends, Martin, and I know your attitude, I know your personality, and I start to notice a few things.
Changes, like.
It's given me the tools to have a conversation with you and ask you, are you all right? Like, are you thinking about taking it? Are you thinking about quitting suicide?
Okay, kind of thing, yeah.
Not being afraid to ask the question, and more so not being afraid of the answer, because this is the taboo question. Are you thinking about ending your life through suicide? Because people are afraid of the answer. That if he says, yeah, I am, shit, what the fuck am I going to do with this?
Yeah, well, the question would be, are you all right? How are you doing? How are you feeling? You don't look the best. Rather than saying straight, are you thinking about committing suicide today?
Yeah, and when you get the answer, this training is giving you the tools of what to do with it. So we wanted to have as many community members in Jobstown to have that training. The goal was that no matter where you are in Jobstown, there's no one more than 5 minutes away who has the training. And we done it.
So you train people up, like, as you said, barmen, barbers, butchers, taxi fellas.
Yeah.
Within the first year, you had
88
people trained up, and the suicides went from one suicide a week to zero.
0 in the first year, 0 in the second year, 1 in the third year. And now the numbers are still, we're actually gone from the worst to probably the safest community in the country.
Thanks be to God.
And that's all about community. It's a community problem. So you face community problems as a community. There's no point in pointing the finger at HSE or pointing the finger at the council or pointing at anybody else. This is our problem here.
Yes.
So let's fix it. We're all community members. We all love each other. Let's fix this as a community. So
because we have got into the habit of going, it's the government's fault.
It's always the government's fault. Yeah, it's always the government's fault. Someone else's fault. That's the way it is. And a lot of the time it is, but not all the time. This was. Look, let's fix this here. We're the community.
It reminds me of.
So Jeff, straight up, have you ever asked? Have you, like you said a minute ago, you directly ask people?
Yeah.
Did you ever have to ask a person that question?
Yeah.
And what was the outcome of it?
They said yeah.
And then would you be able to talk to them through stuff?
Yeah. And then you signpost them. You direct them to where's the right place to go. Whether it's counselling, they might need residential to straight in that it's gone that bad that
could be any kind of pressure,
or it could be just them saying it and getting it off their shoulders and me having a chat with them.
And that might relieve them.
That could be just enough.
So have you seen like, say, results personally to the people you've been talking to, maybe a week down the line or the next day or a month or whatever?
Well, they're still here.
And you see the difference in them also.
That's the result. If someone says to you, if I ask Dean, are you thinking about committing suicide? And he says, yeah. And I have a chat with him and I do the signpost and then I point him in the right direction. If I see Dean in a month's time, that's the result.
So have you ever had anyone come back to you saying, Jeff, look, I'm happy I had the talk with you. I got this off my shoulders or this in my head or on my
all
mind.
The time.
And I really appreciate what you told me or how you taught me or you, like you said, to make them see life different in a better way kind of stuff.
Yeah, because it's this misconception that men don't want to talk. Men do like talking. It's just sometimes we talk to the wrong people.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed to stop, and particularly traveller men. So when we started doing this and then all these other communities around Dublin start seeing it and around Ireland start seeing the success of it, Then they start asking us to roll it out in their communities. And we done it. We lashed it out. We were going everywhere. And the numbers were coming down and the communities were getting safer. So the HSE brought us in, National Office of Suicide Prevention, and basically said, look, Jeff, these are the 5 targeted areas that we need help in. And we want you to do exactly what you've done in Jobstown. Exactly what you've done. And you and Frank do it in these 5 areas. That was Athy, Blessington, Cherry Orchard, North Clondalkin, and Traveller Men. So they are going to go on Traveller Men. We know that's not going to work. And we're going, it is going to work.
Yes.
It is going to work. And
your best mate was JR.
Your best mate was the Traveller. I know all the Travellers in Tallaght and Jobstown. I know every one of them. I goes, this is going to work. And I'll tell you why it's going to work. Because they do care about the community. They're a very tight community, as you now know, Dean.
Yeah.
That they're a very tight community. Do you want to help each other? It's not all feuding. It's not all fighting. They do want to help each other. So
and by the way, we tried to kill them off with the fucking Traveller Itinerancy Act.
But believe it or not, Dean, that one was the easiest one to get.
Yeah.
The Traveller Men was the easiest one. The first person I called was JR's brother, Joe, who had already done the training in Jobstown.
Traveller, yeah.
By himself. And I said to Joe, look, I know it might be far-fetched here, but is this a possibility? And Joe says, how many do you need? He says, I need 20, minimum. I'll have you 20 by the end of the week. Right? And he says, okay, yeah, sound, reach out. So I went off and I started talking to other travellers I knew. Frank knew travellers from the boxing, so on. We had 30 in about 3 days. 30 men.
Did they know what they were signing up to?
Yeah.
So what are they signing up to? It's a day, it's a half a day?
It's a day, it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it's no literacy involved, there's no writing. That was the biggest fear wasn't actually doing the training. The biggest fear was the reading and writing. And I says, there's no reading and writing. It's a man up there in the flesh doing the training with you. All you need to do is look and talk. Listen and speak. That's all you need to do. There's no writing. So when they all came, done the training, came outside, they were so eager and they couldn't wait to use it. They were like chomping at the bit. They're kind of going, I hope your brother isn't feeling the best tonight so I can have this conversation with him.
the new skills they had.
They couldn't wait to utilise them.
Yeah.
But one of the best,
Jeff, sorry,
man, but one of the best things that happened. So we came outside and there's 2 families in the area in Tallaght who, one's from Tallaght, one's from further on. And they're not a feud, but there's something going on between them. And there's 2 of the men there. They were there for the right reasons. They're there to help their community. They're there to educate themselves.
2 travelling men, yes.
2 travelling men.
Very good.
And they bring this back to their respective communities, their respective sites.
Very good.
So he says, if this kicks off, I'm not going to be doing that. They'll go through me for the short cut. So he says to Frank, look, if it happens, this is nothing to do with us. This is a family thing. Stay the fuck out of it. That's nothing to do with us. One of the men was in the car. The other man comes over to him. And I could see him, seeing him coming. He opens the door of the car. He's expecting a bit of trouble as well. So he's getting out. He's a large man. So he's having a bit of a struggle getting out of the car. And he goes, I don't know. Stay where you are. And he put his hand out.
Very good.
Because he'd both lost people to suicide. Put his hand out. Says, look, I don't want to be fighting with you. I'm at the losing people. You're at the losing people. Let's just put this to bed.
Brilliant.
This happened before me and you.
Very good.
He shook the hands. And I was going, is he leading them on here? I was still expecting
They weren't sure, but they showed respect to each other.
I was still expecting a slap off one of them. I thought it was like is he couldn't have leading them on and he's still going to, and he got out of the car. He had a handshake. Says, look, let's just put it to bed. I don't want.
They'd already agreed to turning up. They were open to it.
Yeah.
And what you were doing was providing them the space for them to just put their hands up and go, you know what, we've got decisions here and choices to make in our own community, rather than just letting feuds or vexing or slagging or any of that type of stuff take over.
Yeah.
We can take control here.
It's a power.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to explain to a lot of the men, because lads, you are going back now into your respective community and you have tools that no one else on that site has. You have tools to help every single person on that site.
Like Martin was asking you there, has anyone ever come to you? And I know I've done that training, but I've done the next level as well, which is CIS training.
I've done that, yeah.
And I found during COVID that people were coming to me once a week, going, I'm suicidal. They knew I had it, and they were coming to me. At that point, I didn't even have to ask them, are you suicidal? But I've used it. I would say I've used it every week since I've done the training. And I've said to people, and I've looked at them, and I've held their hands and gone, are you suicidal today?
Yeah.
And it's an amazing freedom. There's liberation from the heaviness.
Just being asked the question sometimes enough, because it's like he sees me. He's actually listening to what I'm saying here. I'm
not just traveller one.
So right, what would you normally say to somebody, Jeff, that would come to you, or if you've seen the signs that they were sort of down and out or fed up, or things wouldn't look normal on them, or whatever it might be? Obviously, you know the signs. You're saying that.
Yep.
What would you normally say to somebody like that?
Well, I'd have the normal conversations first and say,
what's the kind of words would you use?
How are you feeling? You don't seem to be yourself, Martin.
Right.
You seem to be a bit angry, or you might be. You're a bit more distant.
Right.
You're usually upbeat and you're coming in singing.
Yes.
But I've noticed in the last couple of weeks you're not. Is everything all right? If he says, yeah, everything's grand, are you sure? Because I know it's not.
Yes.
Are you sure? And I still have a little. But if you're still adamant,
so you sort of hesitate a little bit, like, would you?
If you're still adamant saying, no, I'm all right, then I'm not going to push it, because now you know I'm there for you, because I'm asking you.
You've seen certain signs.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm asking you. I've acknowledged. I know Martin's not the best today.
Would you assure them that they have someone to talk to, like, if they needed to? Yeah.
So I'll say, well, if you don't feel yourself, you can give me a shout. I can put you in touch with someone, or I can help you myself. But what you're doing is you're reinforcing that he's not alone.
You're letting them know there's someone there to help him, basically.
I'm here for you. It's safe to talk to me.
In other words, don't be shy to talk. Talk if you need to talk.
There's people here.
Because
one of the biggest things is feeling lonely. Like, been there myself, and you're going, I could be in a room full of people and I feel I'm on my own. That's a hard thing.
Well, they say that loneliness is one of the worst pains, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's it. Like, people go, how should Jeff can't be lonely?
She's always
20 friends.
He's surrounded by everybody.
Jeff sounds a pound. Jeff's this, and you're going to go, well,
but in his own mind, he's not.
No, Jeff's not sounds a pound. He's letting you think I am.
Jeff is lost.
Oh, I'm waiting for someone to say, Jeff, are you all right? Do you want to have a chat?
Yes.
That's what I'm waiting on, because I haven't got the balls to say it myself. Someone please fucking ask me. So I'm waiting. So if you have 20 people in your community who you know has that training, you're going, right, I don't actually like Jeff.
Well, you can
I'm not going to talk to him.
else.
But Dane's A1, Martin's sound. Yeah. So I'll talk to Martin. You're giving them the options.
Yeah, it depends who they're comfortable chatting, basically.
Exactly.
Yes.
I like Mary over there, or Winnie is grand,
and
the more people that have it, as you said in Tallaght, you're no more than 20 foot away from somebody who has it.
There's better options. Yeah.
So what we had done was the barman in the Jobstown pub, John Kilbride, had the most interventions. So he was making interventions all over the place.
Most chats with people, the most safe talks.
And he was signposting. You should talk to Jeff, or you should go to, there's the council numbers, call them. And he was actually ringing, look at one of your customers and blah, blah, blah. So we kind of picked up on that. So what we done was, we went to every pub in Tallaght and says, give me one of your staff and we'll train all of them. We'll train someone in every pub in Tallaght. And that's what we done. So now there's somebody in every pub in Tallaght that has the training.
Very good.
Because if he's having that many interventions, or at the pub down the corner, or the pub down Tallaght Village, or the pub down Time
So I've mentioned this to Martin before, right? And let's get 20 travellers down, and we invited people down. And at that point, I don't think they were ready to hear it. And we didn't get any down. But I think there might be, and it sounds like Martin's more interested now because he's seen you in the flesh, of doing something like this with travelling men in Ballymun. Because I know now nationally, actually between Ireland and England, travellers are getting together and they're doing a no shame campaign.
Yeah.
So travelling people are ready for this.
Yeah.
And some travellers are very shy about these things, being honest about it, straight up. Especially men. They don't want to, let's say they don't want to show their weaknesses. And they think it's a weakness, although it's not.
Yeah.
It's something that's going on in their heads. But they think like by expressing their feelings or their thoughts to somebody, they're sort of bringing themselves down kind of thing, you know what I mean? Which actually, they're better people because it means they're stronger, because they're taking more courage on to actually talk about it.
Exactly.
And it's sad that sometimes people don't.
But I think the option now is there. The opportunity there.
Well, what I do is we shot the video, so I have the video done, and you'll see the traveller men, and you see the variety in ages, the variety in experience, and they're all going. These have all done the training, and they're all going. I am such and such and it's safe to talk to me. But what we were trying to encourage was, if we got 15 traveller men off a site, and say 10 of them are daddies, you don't have to go around the site and trying to put out fires and think you're Mother Teresa. If you if you were just doing it in your own family. So if you had the training, Martin, and you're going, okay, I'm going to look after the Stokeses on this bay, in this caravan, and I'm going to look after this family here. This is mine. This is my kingdom, and I'm going to look after these. And if I see one of my kids who might be suffering a bit, and I'm noticing the signs, I have the tools. The same way if your young fella grazed his knee, you'd know how to put a plaster on.
The same way if he was breaking down a car, you'd know how to train him to break down the car.
Exactly. So you're being a daddy and you're going saying, right, I'm looking after my family here. I'm not looking after the whole site. I'm not. That's their business. I'm looking after this bay. This here is my kingdom. I'm looking after all yous here by me doing this training. If 2 bays up, Mr. McDonough wants to do the same, and he looks after his, brilliant. 2 doors up, 2 bays up, Mr. McDonough wants to do it. And then if there's 10 of the daddies, your site has gone into one of the most safest sites without you even stepping on any neighbour's toes or showing any weakness, because you're just doing it for your own stock.
No, what I mean, I don't mean a weakness in a sense. I'm saying is travellers in general are very shy about talking, if you know what I'm saying. I know we said this earlier on. It's sad that they are, but it'd be great if people did have, like, say, problems going on in their minds. Not people are not going to tell every problem. I don't mean it in that sense. The things that you're talking about, say, the training that you done, I think it's probably the same in the settled community. I don't know, and I guess it probably is a part of it. Well, until you took on board your areas, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that people were maybe ashamed to talk also.
The word suicide in the settled community, people couldn't even say it 30 years ago.
It was illegal. Up until 1981,
yeah,
it was illegal to attempt suicide in Ireland. But it's that word shame and ashamed. And
maybe shame or shy. I don't mean shame. Probably
being too ashamed or having too much shame will kill you if it stop you from asking these questions or asking for help.
So let's hear. I'm going to throw this out. Let's kill shame, right? And I'm going to use the power of this podcast now. Jeff, you love this podcast. You listen to it. It got you into listening to other podcasts.
Yeah.
There's travelling men and women listening to this podcast. There's settled people around this country. This is an offer to traveller men and women. If you want to do safe talk, if you want to be able to ask somebody in your community, are you suicidal? Ask somebody in your family, are you thinking about committing suicide today? If you want to do that, reach out to us here at a Traveller and a Countryman podcast. We'll connect you in with the HSE and Jeff, and we'll get you trained up. It's 4 hours out of your life, and it could save a lot of lives. Free,
no cost, no literacy needed, and no big college education, none that shy. It's just you and being open to having a conversation.
And that's the only reason I'm setting this podcast up. That's the role of this podcast. That's the role of these conversations. Yeah. Is that we can, day by day, inch by inch, person by person, start to liberate ourselves, to liberate the travelling people, to liberate Irish people from shame and guilt and all of those things that are bleeding, killing us off.
Yep. Yeah.
Deadly. That's it. That's 14 done. Episode 14. Travelling the Countryman. Laughs, memories, films, fuck-ups, safe talks. Jeff O'Toole, you bleeding legend.
Thank you very much, lads.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Thank you for
coming
in here.
Thanks, Dean.
All bless.
So that's us for this episode, a Traveller and a Countryman podcast. If you like it, let us know, share it around, and we'll see you on the road.